Every day, more than 17 veterans take their own lives. By building a gaming community that offers peer-to-peer counseling, GameCore is aiming for zero. Research shows that playing video games together offers social connection, stress relief, cognitive enhancement, and community building. On our Discord server, veterans, active duty service members, and supporters chat and game together. Some casual gaming sessions might only involve 2 or 3 people, while other events might include larger groups and be streamed on the GameCore Twitch channel. Most of the time, there is a GameCore member available to lend an ear to anyone who needs it. Join the Discord server. It's free. We are an inclusive community and we don't require anything of our members. If you want to be more involved, there are always opportunities to volunteer.
All right, folks, welcome to our Wednesday night broadcast of the Tech for Troops Cup Series here tonight in Las Vegas for the South Point 200. I'm Rick Souza here in the booth with my co-broadcaster, John DeRudris. And, John, we are on the final Elite 8 group of drivers trying to make it to the final.
Yeah, it is a wild time to be in the Tech for Troop Cup Series because this is somebody's chance. Somebody potentially could lock their way into the championship finale, the championship 4, just 3 weeks from today. And it all starts right here at Las Vegas. And so it is a great place to lock in a win and potentially set up yourself to do what, Joey Logano's done a couple times, is win at Vegas, lock himself in, and not have to worry about Talladega or the next race or any of the races after that until Phoenix. So looking at where we are right now, though, we got qualifying just taking place, and it should be an exciting night of racing here in Vegas.
Yeah, full field tonight, over 30 entries tonight in the Tech for Troops Cup Series, and number of drivers on track now. If you're unfamiliar with the process, unlike at NASCAR where you go car after car after car, here in iRacing, it is basically everybody goes out at the same time and start putting up times. And we are beginning to see the first times drop in here in Vegas, and they are sub 30-second times.
Impressive, especially for Austin Call. 29.161 is the fastest time on the board, set there by the 47 machine. Better watch out for him. And we'll see what happens as we see other times make up their way. Looking at that Aflac machine made popular by Carl Edwards. Gotta love that scheme.
All right, we'll let these drivers qualify. While they do, we'll cover some other things, some housekeeping. Let's go through the race tonight. First let's look at the standings. Let's do that.
Yeah. Let's talk about the standings really quick. So right now we are in the first race of the round 3, so a round of 8 really. And Walker Thomas sits there at the top of the board with Kyle Smalley, Wyatt Gray, and Matthew Wood above the cut line. But 8 points below Matthew Wood is Andrew Pileshi. Right there, very close. 10 points below Matthew Wood is Marcus Adams. 20 points, Maxwell Caldwell. And 22 points, Garrett Johnston. So one bad or good race from anybody in that bottom 4 or top 4 could really swing this, especially from Wyatt Gray down to Garrett Johnston. Very big swings right there could happen, especially with the car count as big as 30. So got to pay attention to those guys around the cut line, Pileshi, Adams, Caldwell, Johnston, as well as Wood and Gray, because that's going to be very important as we get into this next couple rounds here on points.
All right, with that, with the standings, obviously we'll be focusing on that tonight. Let's talk about exactly what the race is tonight here at. Let's refresh that a little bit slow here. There we go.
There it is. So 125 laps for you all tonight. Pit road speed at 45 miles an hour. No quick repairs. 4 sets of tires. 1 on the car. 3 in the pits. 75% fuel and 3 green white checker restarts with a track temp that's about 75 degrees. So pretty nice night here for these guys to roll the dice and see if somebody can lock their way into the championship finale.
Yeah, we were just talking. We got 30 starters in tonight's event, and as you probably can tell from those shots, the lights are on here in Vegas, and it's going to be a fun night race here. Now, this is a 1.5 mile track, so this is kind of like the sweet spot for this car.
It really is, and you will see some really solid racing, multi-line racing. And the big thing is going to be aero blocking, side drafting, being able to get a run on the car in front of you and being able to block is going to be very, very important here. And so let's talk about really quick my 3 keys for tonight's race. Number 1, I'm going to go with tire management. I think you have to be able to manage those right sides. If not, you're going to be sliding all over the track way too early in the run. Second is going to be pit strategy. This race tends to go long and have green flag stops, and there's no stops for stages, so you have to be able to make your pit strategy work for you. And then third, I think this is very, very important, track position. You have to be able to position yourself in a race that might go green up at the front to be able to set the pace, to be able to control the field, to be able to control the strategy. And if you do that, you should win this race, theoretically. But again, anything can happen. You could run into a car slowing down on the apron or on the low line when it's coming to pit road. You could spin out. You could hit the barrels. You got to call them. Well, I guess there's no barrels here because there's no pit wall. Actually, that's actually kind of fascinating. I never knew there was not a pit wall here. Look at that. But alrighty.
All right, I think we've got a grid. Let's go ahead and bring you that grid for tonight's South Point 200 here at Las Vegas.
Alrighty, here we go on pole for tonight's event. First race of the round of 12, Jordan Weaver on pole with Marcus Adams right there starting in second. Row 2, you have Andrew Pileshi right there on the cut line. That's what he needed with Austin Call there starting in P4. Third row, Justin Lewis and Walker Thomas with row 4 made up by Michael Anthony and Wyatt Gray. And row 5, Matthew Wood and Maxwell Caldwell.
Starting in row 6, Kyle Smalley with Nathan Yarnell to the outside. You got Aaron Jackson and John Ledger in row 7, Greg Stone, Christoph Hall in row 8, Marco Berube and Garrett Johnston in row 9, and Roberto Ramirez and Jared Wishin in row 20. In row 10.
In row 11, we have David Watts and Aiden Lucas with Philip Van Ortwick and Ty Bostic making up row 22. I did it there.
You did it.
Row, that 12. Was that 12?
12, yeah.
Can't keep count now. Row 13, Bud Scherer, I always mispronounce your name. Sorry there, Bud, with Cody Sturgill there starting to his outside. Chuck Van Scoyk and Pete Woodrum rank up row number 14. And back of the grid, Alex Linney and Sammy Harrell makes up 29th and 30th. Still waiting for a few more guys to grid. They got about 20 seconds left, I think. So
that's about it.
Better get to gridding fast. And we're seeing right now on the track some pink paint schemes for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is in October. Really fun to see what paint schemes all these drivers show up with, and there's the little ribbon. There it is. I saw it pop up. Very nice graphic team. A+ effort on that one. That was great timing. But always love to see the cars that are in that pink color. So,
all right. Well, the pace car in the field is underway here as they make their way around in this formation lap or warm-up lap here. Going green here again, 125 laps here in Las Vegas in the round of 8. 4 drivers will, when we're done with this, will head over to Phoenix and battle it out for the Season 6 championship here in the Tech for Troops Cup Series.
yeah, it's gonna be a fun race. I think it's gonna be very exciting. The multi-line racing. I think you're going to see a lot of action early on, which is what we want to see, right? We want to see the action.
Absolutely.
We want to see what these guys can do. And so looks like we're going to get a completely dark race. It doesn't even look like we're going to go from a day to night transition. The lights are already on. As Jordan Weaver, Marcus Adams make up row number 1.
Field is working their way towards the Echo Park restart zone.
Yep, and here we go. Who is going to roll the dice the right way, have all the right cards, and lock themselves into the championship before? We're going to find out in 125 laps. Green flag in the air here at Las Vegas. Looks like both lines kind of stacked up a little bit now going into turn 1. Maybe some 3 wide there, a little bit on back. That's about 4 rows back as the cars now pile out of turn number 2. Everybody's staying in the forward direction.
Looking back through the field again, side by side.
And leading lap number 1 is going to be Jordan Weaver, I believe. Yep, Jordan Weaver takes lap number 1, but there's Marcus Adams right there to your outside.
Yeah, Marcus hasn't given up that high line, that mid to high line. He's running solidly there and takes back over first place.
Yeah, got it done with authority there. Number 31 diecast fans. Ford Mustang got some side-by-side action. Looking at Matthew Wood and Austin Call. Right behind them, you have Maxwell Caldwell, and Michael Anthony. Cars touching the wall, knocking out cameras. It's fine. John Ledger all the way up in the high line right there in that Monster Energy number 19.
Little brush with a safer barrier there. That happens a lot here. As you probably saw early on, the drivers can take advantage of that apron on the front stretch. They can leverage that. Is there an advantage to that? I don't know. But it certainly is an opportunity to be able to bail out and still continue pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, when we were here last week with the INRS, I did not take that route often, as I just didn't feel too comfortable doing that. But you can do it. You can do it.
Justin Lewis making his way in his position felt. He's now on that outside line there. Jordan Weaver's tucked in behind the 31 of Marcus Adams with the 7 on the outside. Wants to take this over and does lead a lap.
Look at that. Yeah, Justin Lewis is one of the guys that we thought could get a win in the regular season. Came so close. So close. And let's see if we can bring up that scoring pylon on the left-hand side, see if it can populate. I don't know if it will. It's 5 laps in. Ah, there we go. So, yeah, Marcus Adams there, Andrew Pileshi, Walker Thomas, Matthew Wood, Maxwell Caldwell, Kyle Smalley. 6 playoff drivers in the top 9 right now.
All right, Justin Lewis continues to lead here in Las Vegas. Just 6 laps in of 125. Looking for other battles around side by side with John Ledger. He's on the low side. He's got the 14 of Michael Anthony to the outside.
Yep, and this is what you're going to see battles all night long, especially early on in these runs. You have to be able either A, be a little bit patient and save your stuff, or B, be on the offensive, and that's where you're seeing a lot of these drivers trying to get around right there. And speaking of some of the biggest movers of the race, Ty Bostic up 7 is your biggest mover of the race. He is all the way back in 17th, so watch out for him to maybe move his way towards the front of this race. Not eligible for the playoffs anymore, but still out here trying to compete and still trying to get wins.
Yeah.
So they're still looking at the battle with John Ledger, and now the 55 of Nathan Yarnell enters the battle.
Yep, he got his way. He got moved around the 19. Looking further on up, you've got the 47 there of Austin Call. He's got the 51 of Kyle Smalley there on the outside. Now right tucked in front, single file. 21 of Matthew Wood is there as well. So right now we're 9 laps in. These tires are still fresh. They're now all heated up. They're going to stick the best they can right now.
Yeah,
But
this is the best time of the race, absolutely. And as you'll start to see in about 5 laps who was able to save their tires, who cooked them up a little bit too much, because that is very, very, it's very easy to do here, especially on a 1.5 miles. You're running fast, you're like, oh, I feel great. Then you're like, wait a second, I just burned up the right sides.
Yeah, they're great till they're not. See Ty Bostic battling there with the 98 of Christoph Hall. Bostic takes the outside. He's now up 8 positions here. We're watching that 22. Another inside baseball story as he is finding his way up through the pack. Back up front, Justin Lewis continues to lead. Let's bring up that track map so our viewers can see just where this field is. And you can see they are still all together, taking up just over 1.5 corners of this track. This field is still bunched up.
Yeah, and all kind of single file. Yeah, all kind of single file at the moment.
So I'm not really. I believe we're talking about 45 laps. Does that sound about right, John, for fuel?
Yep, right. It sounds about right. You could extend it maybe a little bit depending on your throttle inputs and depending on how much you're pushing on entry, middle, and also exit. So you can save a tad, but typically you're looking at 44 to 45. That's what I would expect drivers to start making their way down pit road, which means it's a 2-stop race. As we see the battle starting to heat up a little bit for second place, though. We got a very tight battle. Cars within a tenth of each other. Marcus Adams, Jordan Weaver, Walker Thomas all over each other right now. As we see side-by-side action. Move Jordan Weaver up to second place.
And what's coming up behind him, though, we got Walker Thomas, Marcus Adams working their way up. But you're right, John. It's kind of nose to tail here for a good bit.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely it is.
Just as I say that, see the number 1 of Walker Thomas trying to slip up under the 51 of Kyle Smalley. Now this is top 4 is Justin Lewis up front, but then he's got 3 balls out racing drivers, Weaver, Thomas, and Smalley right behind him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys start to navigate, the slower cars, the cars that burned it up a little bit too early. And this is the time you're going to be able to tell. So looking at some lap times, we have guys all over the board. 30 flats. We have some guys in the 30.3s. We have some guys in the 30.5s. So, you're really able to tell who was able to save their stuff and kind of mitigate the tire wear, per se.
Side-by-side action right there in front of John Ledger. That is Austin Call in the 47. In front of him, we've got Nathan Yarnell. He's backing on a bit. That 47 and the 55 are side-by-side there. 17 laps in, that could be a little sketchy, but said they seem to back out a bit.
Yeah, I mean it can get sketchy quick. It can get sketchy quick, especially with how big the side drafts are here and the runs. Sometimes the car in front of you has a bad corner. It can get really treacherous. And the dirty air here is really going to see the 19 car going to slide up the track just a little bit. The dirty air here is so relevant, and you can really aero block like crazy. You know, the guy behind you may not like it, but it is a part of this racing. It's a part of the product in these cars. See right there, there's the big run from the 71. Now going to go to the outside of John Ledger going into turn 1. Will the 19 know he's there? Oh, he shuts the door. 19 slides up the track, shuts the door. 71 powers through the middle. This might be some contact, Rick.
3 wide.
Did they make it through? I don't see any spinners. All right, so now they're still side by side. That 71 trying to make its way through the field. 55 drops down, and that 71's going to push up a little bit. You can see right there, he pushed up on exit only because the 55 came down in front of that 71. And so the aero battles it is crazy in these cars on a mile and a half. And here we go. We're going to see what happens now on exit.
19 came down, stayed off the wall. 71 dropped low.
Yeah, 19 actually clears the 71 here.
Looks like the high line has some merit here, John.
Just a little. Yeah, it definitely does. You can get a great run off the corner. You could use it to set up a pass. You could use it to defend. There's a lot of different ways you can use that high line. And here's John Ledger going to the high side again. Oh, he got shot up the track by the 55 just a little bit. And now he's back under attack from the 71 of Wyatt Gray, who Wyatt Gray's one of the playoff guys. We got to talk about him. He's the second to last playoff driver right now, trying to make his way up through this field. We're now losing 4 positions. So not the night that Wyatt Gray has wanted, just about a fifth of the way through this race.
Another big mover really is Kyle Smalley up here, currently sitting in 4th. He is up 7 positions here and is now sitting in 4th, started 11th.
Doing a great job. He's kind of running that middle line, that middle low line. It's working wonders right now. And yeah, let's go on board, see what he's doing here. He's going to get a big draft from the car in front of him. Letting off, back in it. Yeah, he's in that sweet spot.
Yeah, right in the middle. He did not go low, did not stay high.
No, that is such a sweet spot for such a sweet spot for these cars.
You can see those markers on the track. Those are painted there in real life as well. That gives a driver some visual idea as to where he is. You can see right there, he is just in that center groove. Keeps him off the wall, and that's basically with throttle control.
It is. It's a line that I was running last week. I liked how it made the car feel on the longer run. Plus, you're getting a little bit of clean air to the nose of the car with you running a little bit of a higher line. So I was a big fan of it. You know, it didn't put too much pressure on it. You weren't cooking the right sides.
I think it's made a pretty big difference for him. He's been able to pick up and get much closer to Jordan Weaver.
Yeah, but look out right behind him. You got Matthew Wood +4 on the night. Matthew Wood is one of those playoff drivers trying to have a good finish here. Here's the 51 now getting to the back door of the 00 of Jordan Weaver, I guess the 0. We'll see what the 51 does here. Will the 0 combat it? 0 doesn't fight it. This is a battle for position. It's a big position, too, because that means the 51 is just one more spot. See how he can give a little bit more drive on entry and able to power it off on exit. He will have the line up top. And now he could just side draft along the 0 here. Well, he wasn't quite there. I thought he was alongside him.
Super close, little contact with the wall there. That has scrubbed him back a little bit and allowed the 21 to gain a little bit of position on him.
See right there, he gains a little bit, and he's able to carry that momentum. Now, he does drop down, tries to power off the corner. This might be a good strategy, though, but here comes the 21 to the outside of the 51. Not quite there. He is not there yet. It's a crazy battle right now for second or third, fourth, fifth. '21 has the high line on the 51 now. Give advantage to Matthew Wood. He will have the preferred lane as he just ships it down into turn number 3. Going to get a great run off the corner. He may be able to do a little bit of a crossover move here on Jordan Weaver. And he's alongside him on the outside, I think.
Yeah, this group has been able to really catch up to Walker Thomas there in the 1.
Yeah, that 21 is flying.
Yep, he worked his way around the 51 and he's on the hunt. You can tell the 21 has done some research here. He's practiced. He's figured out the best way around this track.
Yeah, he's going to have to run on the 1 right here. If he does that high line again, he will pass the 1 going into turn 3 without any issues. Let's see if he has it right here. He's going to get a great run. Sets up a little high. That's a great line, though. Look at it. Look at the difference. You can tell right there. Off quarter exit. Here comes 21 now, trying to take over. P2 over Walker Thomas. Does it at the line.
Yeah, he is running that outside line and is definitely paying off. He now takes over second place.
Yeah, his line is a little bit more reminiscent about the one that I was running. He's like right there on that second dotted line and kind of keeping those tires to the right side. It does wonders on the long run. The speed you're able to carry on corner entry and you're not burning up the tires, I really liked it, and it looks like that 21 found it now. As I say that, he goes back to the bottom line. But we'll see what he's able to do, see if he's able to catch the 7 of Justin Lewis.
All right, Justin Lewis got a bit of a gap out there. Just about 3/4 of a second, 0.75. But will Matthew Wood be able to chip away at it? I think he is.
I think he might.
Man, if I'm Walker Thomas, I'm following that 21, trying to figure out what he's doing differently. See right there, you see the 1 kind of turn down. 21 stays high. Look at the separation that the 21 gets.
Wow.
That little move of turning down early.
Yeah, it's working. It's working wonders.
Yeah. 21 scraped the safer barrier a little bit, kind of took a little bit off. But, his time, he's chipping away almost, half a tenth every lap.
Every little bit you can get, it's going to help. And what that's going to do is he's going to bring along the 1 of Walker Thomas, probably going to bring along the 0 of Jordan Weaver, Kyle Smalley there. I mean, they're all right there within a couple tenths. And so the closer that 21 gets, the closer the rest of the field gets. Then you're into a crazy battle for the lead, nearing almost 9 laps now until we start to see action on pit road. See, the 21 is now backing up that corner a little bit more. Oh, he slammed the wall right there.
Yep, hard hit. That made a huge difference in his time. I'm sure he's kind of kicking himself with that.
Looking our way through the rest of the top 10, though. Jordan Weaver in 4th, Kyle Smalley in 5th, Michael Anthony in 6th. Maxwell Caldwell, Marcus Adams, Wyatt Gray, Andrew Pileshi is your top 10. As we may have a side-by-side battle. Nope. We do have almost a contact there between, I think that's the 31 and the 94.
Marcus Adams and Maxwell Caldwell.
Yeah, they were side-by-side. And I think that 31's going to slide right up in front of Max and say, I'm going to take this spot from you.
I think Maxwell
and the crossover.
Take it back, yeah.
And 94 drove it really deep into the corner. He's going to be there.
Couple drivers on pit road, David Watts, Alex Linney. There was an incident between those two drivers, but their cars are unfortunately both with meatballs. They're both getting work done in the pits. Austin Call also for an extended period of time in the pits, but no caution flag has flown for that incident.
Now we got side by side, I think, between teammates here. You have the 31 and the 14, Marcus Adams and Michael Anthony.
John Ledger
battling
is in on pit road. This is around that time. Here we are, 40 laps in this stint.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to try to go 40, 42 and a half, 42 and a half would be my guess, or 40, 43, 42, or 40, 45, 40. However you want to slice it up. You know, right now you will gain just a little bit on these guys just by pure lap time. We'll see. We have another guy coming out here, that's Andrew Pileshi. So yeah, John Ledger is one of the first ones to make it stick. Now we got Greg Stone making his way down pit road. Yeah, John Ledger is going to be the first taker. Now he has to have an amazing outlap. And I don't remember exactly where he was running at the time of caution, or not time of caution. Oh, I said the word. Darn it. Let's hope it doesn't come out. I don't remember where he was running, but I'm very curious to see what his times will be on exit. He is out of pit road, 15.15 second stop, so we'll see what his lap times are.
Currently, as we are going through this cycle, he's back there right now showing at the tail end of the field, lap down. Under green flag conditions, if you go in, you're definitely going a lap down. So.
And I'm a fan of it because he has to pit anyways, right? And there's not been any wholesale pit stops. You have a couple guys. You have Wyatt Gray on pit road and Garrett Johnston, 2 more playoff drivers. So John might be able to leapfrog a couple of these guys, but I'm actually a fan of pitting 1 lap early. I think it'll net you a little bit more, especially on the outlap. So I think that is going to be very important. But here we go. We got a battle now for second place. The 1, Walker Thomas, Matthew Wood, right there still battling as we have a gaggle of cars trying to make their way down pit road. Marcus Adams, Kyle Smalley, Jordan Weaver.
You know, the 21 has got the line. He knows where to go. I think the biggest challenge he faces is just the couple of times the car has drifted up and wound up rubbing against the safer barrier. That has definitely impacted his success. You can see now he is nearly a full second behind Justin Lewis, who's out there in clean air.
Yeah. Oh, he hit the wall again, as we see Michael Anthony now on pit road. 21 loses second place to to Walker Thomas. So
I think he burned up his stuff too. That didn't help him.
No, I agree.
But everybody is due on pit road. We're at lap 45 here. This is about the time we felt that this was the right lap time or the right lap to go in the pits. And there you have your leader coming in on pit road along with the 67 and the 21.
Yep, and looking right now, we got black flags for Pete Woodrum and Roberto Ramirez, but your leader now is on pit road, so this is going to be interesting. The delta was 1 second. Walker Thomas to the 7, and that's going to be the gap to pay attention to. How quickly can the 7 get on and off pit road? Same thing with the 1.
Both stops are 4-tire stops at this early stage. As John indicated, both Roberto Ramirez and Pete Woodrum have speeding penalties onto pit road. They will be held for 40 seconds in the pits. And good out for Justin Lewis, 15.18 seconds. Looking for the 21 out. Matthew Woods out. His pit was a little bit longer, 16.25. My guess is he may have taken that opportunity to get some repairs done.
Yeah, I think he did. But look, this is what happened. John Ledger is now in front of Justin Lewis. And that's what you get for pitting 4, 5, 6 laps earlier, is you can leapfrog. Now, on the back end of the run, you know, it's not going to be beneficial for the 19. But the 19 now is in front of your, what will be possibly your provisional leader.
Now, interestingly enough, you got these is two GOAT Racing drivers, Aaron Jackson and Chuck Van Slyke. They're both on pit road. Those are the last two drivers to have pitted in this stint.
All right, here we go. The field is kind of restacking and reshuffling. Wyatt Gray, who pit on lap 42, I think is going to be your leader when all this cycles through. Yep, there he is.
Yep, 71 of Wyatt Gray takes over with Kyle Smalley, Jordan Weaver, Andrew Pleshy, and Marcus Adams. That is your top 5. All right, 49 laps in. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We thank you for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network.
Hello, my name is Jack Raymondson. I manage business development here at Tech for Troops, and I'm my second year with this amazing veteran nonprofit owned and operated by veterans for veterans. I served in the U.S. Marine Corps as an amphibious assault crewman from 1992 to 1996. I also served in the U.S. Coast Guard from 2002 to 2007, joining after 9/11 as an operations specialist, then serving as an instructor at Coast Guard Training Center, Yorktown. I also spent many years as a first responder volunteering as an EMT and fireman. I'm here at Tech for Troops because I believe in our mission to empower veterans and their families with the gift of computers and technology training, as well as our outreach to help curb veteran suicide while providing a safe and meaningful community where veterans are treated with respect and dignity. We are aiming for zero veteran suicide through gaming and other program opportunities. We help veterans regain a new sense of purpose and help them see they have a brighter future ahead of them. It truly is an honor and my pleasure to serve my fellow veterans and help give them a leg up. 2024 is Tech for Troops' 10th anniversary year, and I ask that you help us support our veterans and their families with a computer donation and or greatly needed financial contribution so we can help every last veteran in need. Together, you and Tech for Troops can be change makers. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the Tech for Troops Cup Series here in Las Vegas. This is the South Point 200 here as the Tech for Troops guys are racing. This is the Elite 8. And from here, we move on to the final 3 races, Vegas, Talladega, and we do a little bit differently in this league this year. Our third race, you'd think it's Martinsville, but it's not. Here in the Tech for Troops Cup Series, our third race is actually at Nashville Super Speedway.
I'm a fan of that track.
I bet
Not
you are.
too far down the road for me. Not too far down the road.
All right, Wyatt Gray is leading after this first round of pit stops. He figured out a way to move himself all the way up to the front. Now he's got the 22 of Ty Bostic. That Ty is not leading. He is actually the last car on the lead lap. I can't tell you what happened to Ty. I'm not sure what happened to Ty. All that I do know is he is at the tail end. He is hoping for something to happen that would allow him to come all the way back around. A couple of retirees. Austin Call has called it a night. Alex Linney is still trying to get his car repaired. He's still in the pits. David Watts, unfortunately, Alex Linney and David Watts did collide, and that caused a 54 to retire. So they're still out. Cars there are a lap down. That's Roberto Ramirez. He has got the lucky dog if that were to fly. And then Pete Woodrum. Pete Woodrum is also a lap or so down. 56 laps complete here in Las Vegas. Wyatt Gray, your leader, as this field is rapidly chipping away in really some clean racing tonight, John.
No, it's been fantastic racing. Really excited to see that, and really curious to see who's able to finish on top here, because we have almost every single playoff driver in the top 10 except for 2. So you gotta stick around and see who's going to win this race. Right now, Wyatt Gray on top of the boards might be locking himself in.
Yep, solid racing. Single file up front as Justin Lewis is trying to get up under the 71 of Wyatt Gray.
Yeah, these battles are getting pretty fierce. It's Ty Bostic's trying to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, I'm afraid that that is a ship that has sailed. We were talking briefly about this track. You know, these mile and a halves, Charlotte, Texas, here in Las Vegas, very similar in layout, but more importantly, it really suits this car.
It really does, from a handling perspective, from a tire wear perspective. It really makes this a fun place to race, and you can kind of race all over the place. So it's a very fun track. Highly recommend, if you haven't tried it out on iRacing, give it a shot.
All right, just a few laps away from halfway here in Las Vegas. Have some different leaders. Let's bring up some of the leaders that have led tonight's races. You can see we've spreading the wealth around a little bit here. You've got Wyatt Gray with 11, Justin Lewis led 41 laps, Jordan Weaver a couple, Marcus Adams a couple, then Walker Thomas, Maxwell Caldwell, Aaron Jackson. Number of drivers leading here tonight. Wyatt Gray continues to lead here. Solid run here for the 71 after that round of our first round of pit stops. He pretty much timed it exactly right. We went in top 10, came out in front.
Yeah, doing a great job out front. We're just going to see how long it lasts. That's the big question. How long will this last? I mean, right now it's almost like a drafting battle, right? So very curious to see what's going to go on.
So if you just assume that they can stretch it out to 45 laps, if you look at Justin Lewis, he came in, he was leading a bunch of laps before this. He made out for 45. So if you assume they can come out, run another 40, 42 laps, that's going to take them up to lap 84, 85, which will position them to finish, right, if it stays green.
Yep, exactly.
To make it one more stop. And that stop is only about 20 laps away, so they're already halfway through this run. And you really can't. This is just the track length here, the run here. You really don't have an advantage if you go, 42 to 44 and 84 to 90. Then you still have 35 laps to go. There's no advantage to coming in. It's pretty much just run the tank dry and figure it out.
Exactly. You're right. But looking right now, Rick, we got that 7 right there. Tro contact. 71 hit the wall. The 7-0. He shut the door.
Man, super close.
So he shut the door too many times, like that. May not end up too well for you.
You know, we saw Matthew Wood really take advantage of that higher line and gain some great momentum. But, you know, right now, Matthew Wood's back in ninth. Again, the 7 taps the wall. Each time he does that, he takes about a tenth or so away from himself, and that distance between himself and the 71. But more importantly, if you keep doing that, he could inflict some damage on that right front toe.
Yeah, I think it might be. We'll see how it plays out. But either way, we are now nearing in to about 55 laps to go here in a few laps.
Yeah, just
It's
past
going to start.
past the halfway point here.
Yep.
Looking on back to the field, you see the 21 of Matthew Wood. He's now sitting back in ninth.
Yeah, trying to make his way back up.
Yeah, it's actually 22 of Ty Bostic has continued to fall back. Although
Yeah,
he is now the lucky dog. Chuck Van Scoik and Aaron Jackson, we saw them. They came in the latest. They were the last 2 cars to pit. They're currently sitting in 12th and 13th right now. 2 GOAT Racing drivers back there. John Ledger is sitting in 14th right now. But farther back, you saw this is Sammy Harrell. He started at the very tail of the field in the last row. He's now up 12 positions, running in 18th. Back up front, looking at Justin Lewis. He's got he's going to drive with his eyes in his rearview mirror for a bit because he's got that 51 of Kyle Smalley right on his tail.
He does, and that's a guy that will pass you if you give him the chance. So very curious to see what that 51 does. He's on the low line now. He's gonna have a little bit of momentum. Nope, not quite, not enough.
See the 01 right beneath him, Jordan Weaver, trying to find a spot to slip in there.
7 tagged the wall.
Yep, and that opened the door for the 51, who's now door-to-door with him to take over second place.
Doing a great job, actually. Yep, he should be clear. Oh, nope, not yet. Got a little bit tight off the corner.
And the 7 had a good run.
Great run. And they're still battling right there. I think the 7's going to take it, though.
Yep. The safer barrier giveth and it taketh away.
Giveth, then you take it.
So all that battling amongst these drivers of Lewis, Smalley, and Weaver, really the beneficiary of all that is Wyatt Gray. He's by himself. He's out front. He's got nobody in front of him at the moment.
Yeah, but it's going to get close. I think it's going to get close here near the end of this stint as we see the 7-0 all the way up at the wall.
Not sure what happened to him, but he just ran way up. But again, these tires are 30 laps old now, and yeah, they're 10 laps away from a round of pit stops.
It's like he got suctioned up to the wall.
He did.
just like that, we have all 8 playoff drivers in the top 11 right now. It's
Cream rises.
It does. It always does. Not always. Most times.
Mostly.
We see Justin Lewis trying to defend from the 51. Really, he's helping out the 71 because the more he defends second place, the further away that 71 can drive and the less he has to worry about somebody trying to pass him.
That gap right now is just about 0.6 between second place Justin Lewis and first place Wyatt Gray. Solid run here from the 71 of Wyatt Gray.
Absolutely.
First pit stop taker in this round is Greg Stone in the 5. He is on pit road. Maybe a little early, but see how it all plays out.
I think it could work. We'll see.
I'm really thinking you got to make it to 84. That's got to be.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Because if you pit this early, you're going to wind up being about 10 laps short.
Yep. Well, if you pit now, it's about 45. Right? It's right on the dot. We've seen cars go a little bit longer than that, so.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Saw someone down the apron. I thought they were making their way into the pits, but they were not.
We know what happens when drivers have sketchy pit road entrances, don't we?
Yeah.
Saw this past weekend. Goodness gracious. Well, right now we have 45 laps to go. Still really anybody's game as the car way up in the wall. I think that was a 7 again.
Yeah, 51 is just biding his time, I think. He's looking for the right opening.
Yep.
He's close now. I want to bring up that in-car from Smalley here. Also bring up the the mile per hour here as they're exiting. They're getting up there pretty close to 200 miles an hour.
It's getting up there. It's like 195. Yeah, 192 right there. Impressive. On fresh tires, it would be even faster.
Yep.
See some side-by-side action right there. That's the 5 of, that's Greg Stone.
19 of Ledger in on pit road. Couple early takers, Sammy Harrow and John Ledger. But really any time after now is when we expect to see this field make their way down onto pit road for their final stop of the night.
Yep.
All right, before that gets too far away from us, we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a way to safely and securely dispose of your old electronic devices? Why not donate them to Tech for Troops? Tech for Troops is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to bridging the technology gap for in-need veterans and their families. The donation process is quick and easy. Simply go to techfortroops.org and click on the donate link at the top right-hand side of the page. Scroll down to access the Give Back Box link. To create your shipping label, click Add to Cart and complete the checkout process. The shipping label is good for up to 50 pounds. You can recycle most standard shipping boxes to send in your devices. Oh, don't forget the power cords. Give new life to your old technology by responsibly recycling with Tech for Troops. Help save the environment and support a veteran.
All right, just like that, we had our leader on pit road. Now a whole slew of drivers have made their way down onto pit road.
This is the time. It's the money stop.
Yep, Weaver, Adams, Paleshi, Lewis, Wood, Caldwell, Bud Shear, all on pit road. All drivers took 4 tires, which is very interesting. Saw a number of, well, I say that, but I don't believe the leader took 4 tires. I think Wyatt Gray took 2.
I guess that could work. That's a very bold strategy, though. That's very bold.
12.53 seconds on his last stop. I have to believe that that was a 2-tire stop.
Makes sense.
We can go back and see if we can look at that. That was lap 84. It's a replay of the leader's pit stop. This is Wyatt Gray. Good entry. Right sides.
Yep, 2 stops or 2 tires.
That was it. 2-tire stop.
We'll see how long he can last. Bold call in my book. Bold call.
All right, Aaron Jackson is currently shown as our leader as this round of pit stops has jumbled up the field. Those drivers who have not stopped, Van Scoik, Lucas, Wishin, and Yarnell. I say that, Jared Wishin is on pit road. So there's 4. That just leaves 4. We'll take that back. There's a couple drivers who are a lap or so down that still have yet to make their stop. I'm curious though. I think Wyatt Gray is going to come out looking pretty good here. We'll see if the field can chase him down. So I think because he only took 2 tires, he is actually out in front of this group that is a lap down. We'll see how this all plays out. So here comes Chuck Aaron Jackson on pit road and Aiden Lucas. That leaves just Chuck and Nathan Yarnell out there. I don't think he's gaining any value by staying out all this time.
I'm right there with you. I don't think he is either. I think it's a bold statement. It's going to be close, though. It's going to be close. You know?
So 23 has yet to make his stop. He's currently shown as the leader. Of course, Chuck and those GOAT Racing guys have just really capitalized all season long on their ability to save fuel and stretch out these green flag runs. And there he is. 23 is on pit road.
Yep, it knew it was going to happen. About thinking, you know, when could it happen?
Yep, well, that puts the 71 as soon as they cycle past pit lane in the back into the lead. Remember, as we were talking, Wyatt Gray did a 2-tire stop, as did the 1 of Walker Thomas. Both those drivers took only 2 right side tires, and imagine that, they're 1 and 2.
Yep. Makes sense.
So Wyatt Gray out in front. He's got about a 4-second gap between himself and second place of Walker Thomas. Walker Thomas is right there battling with Justin Lewis and the 51 of Kyle Smalley. They're out there battling tightly. Also see the 41, that's Roberto Ramirez. Unfortunately, Roberto is a lap or so down tonight. But gets a little TV time for his sponsor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Always love that.
And the 7.
Here we are.
7 of Justin Lewis. That right side of that Chevrolet has taken a beating tonight with that safer barrier.
I'm just impressed he can keep going, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, it's been taking a beating.
We thank you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast here on the IWM Broadcast channel. We would love to keep you into the updated with things that are happening, all things IWM. We've got our season wrapping up here with multiple events each week on Wednesdays and Thursday nights as we're working our way towards the end of the season. John, it's been a long season, but we've seen some great racing.
Oh, it's been an amazing season. It's been a lot of good racing. Almost every single week we go to a different track. Very excited to see what the next couple races are going to bring. So, yeah, really stoked to see how the rest of the season's going to be. So, appreciate everybody for tuning in so far this season. If you watch this far, you got to see who the champion's going to be here in 3 weeks. So, and we may see potentially that 71 lock himself in tonight, but you never know. Not going to say anything. Never know.
He is right there on the. He's got the Sammy Harrell right there. Sammy is, interestingly enough, looking for Sammy Harrell here. Yeah, Sammy is, I think, 2 laps down, about to be 3. Nope, just 2 laps down. Currently, our lucky dog candidate, if we were to have that happen, is the 99 of Marco Berube. He's sitting right back there in 22nd.
Nice.
But your leader here with 25 laps to go, Wyatt Gray, with really nobody around him. He has got about 3+ seconds between himself and Walker Thomas, who's back here, was battling tightly with the 7, but maybe one too many battles with the safer barrier for the 7, and he's fallen back a little bit.
Yep.
But right now, Balls Out Racing with Walker Thomas is 2nd. Kyle Smalley, Balls Out, is 3rd. Jordan Weaver is sitting in 6th. And Michael Anthony is in 9th. Their whole team is in the top 10.
Yeah, they always do a fantastic job everywhere they go, right? I mean, it's amazing to see a team that cohesive, you know? So it's awesome to watch.
Yep, they had a great season all year. They won the team championship. They locked that up last week, so they were the successful team that won the moolah with the team for the team championship. But hey, the race, it isn't over now. We are obviously looking to crown a a winner here for the championship, and these guys are out there battling.
Yes, they are.
So let's bring up the current standings and try to figure out where people are right now. So right now, looking at Walker Thomas, obviously he's sitting in second. Kyle Smalley sitting in third. Wyatt Gray, well, you know where Wyatt Gray is. He is up at the point. Looking at Matthew Wood, he's sitting in ninth. Then over on the cut line, Andrew Pleshy sitting in seventh. That's good for him. Marcus Adams, where's Marcus? He's in fifth. Maxwell Caldwell sitting in 10th, and Garrett Johnson in 12th. They are not far away, but obviously it's a big opportunity there for Marcus Adams.
Oh, absolutely. And it's very, very telling of, looking at that point total and where those guys are on the track. I mean, it's always, near the top. So very exciting to see that, especially with some guys been able to lead the cut line and where they are. Because it's going to get tight after this playoff, or after this race, absolutely. But right now, Wyatt Gray still with a 3.2 second gap up at the front of this field, taking charge.
Yeah, that's the 5 of Greg Stone. He passed Greg. That was the tail end of the lead lap, but he has got really nobody in front. He's just making his way around, got lots of clean air, and doing great. So we've run 106 laps so far under green flag conditions. 19 laps to go, hoping that continues.
Yeah.
Field at this point, all 30 drivers, or 27 drivers who are still running at this point, are spread out really across this entire track here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's all across the board, really. It's just a long conveyor belt at the moment. But with 17 laps to go, we're reaching the point now where if you're not making a move, you may not be, winning this race. And right now the gap is slowly increasing with Wyatt Gray there, Rick, Walker Thomas, and Kyle Smalley there. Walker Thomas not solidified into the championship round, but he's got a pretty big point gap. He could point his way in, right?
Yeah.
So,
looking on back, always looking for a battle. Not really finding anything right now on the track, John. You see anybody that's door to door here?
So the closest battle that I see is second and third. There's a pretty tight battle. Garrett Johnston, John Ledger, Aiden Lucas. That's a pretty tight one back there. I say that's a close battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is for 10th through 14th right there. 3 wide. Yep, there we go. Oh, up the track we go. Now we got 5 cars. We got a gaggle of cars now.
It's an official NASCAR term. It's a gaggle.
It is. It is. Well, it's an IWM term, and they pay us royalties for it.
Oh, there you go.
See? You just can't give everything to NASCAR. I mean, come on.
I see the 15. I think that's Garrett Johnston slipping up under John Ledger. Garrett is up 8 positions tonight. Aiden Lucas is there as well. Aiden is up 12. Good run for the 34 of Aiden Lucas.
Phenomenal run.
These guys are battling back here for a top 10 position. Oh, little contact with the wall with the 15. With 13 laps to go.
Yep.
All right, back up to second place. It's a battle. The one of Walker Thomas is right there battling with his teammate, Kyle Smalley. I think these guys are right there in the on the plus side of the championship battle. Probably no team orders between these guys.
No, not at all.
Barney up there in the tower is a little bored right now.
He's had a very uneventful night.
Yeah.
Now, if I remember correctly, this time last Thursday night is when chaos started to unfold, right?
It could be, but we're hoping that we're not going to see that tonight.
No.
Solid here as we're approaching just 10 laps to go here in Las Vegas in the South Point 200. Our Tech for Troops Cup Series drivers battling it out in the first round in the round of 8. No surprise who is the top 4 drivers. Those guys are all in the playoffs.
Of course. You know they would be. It always rises to the top, you know, it always does. And right now, Andrew Pileshi, Marcus Adams, Maxwell Caldwell, Garrett Johnston, right there. And looking at the standings, Andrew Pileshi is the first driver up. So he's doing what he needs to do on his competition behind him.
The big win here right now, the big advantage is Marcus Adams sitting in 4th. That could give him a huge opportunity to chase down. See, Matthew Wood, he's right there with 342 points. He's got about a 10-point advantage, but unfortunately, Matthew Wood is sitting right there now in 9th. So, chipping away.
Yeah, no, it's going to be pretty tight at the cut line. I mean, it may be even tighter than it is tonight, which is crazy to think about. But I think that it's going to be an awesome run at the end. So
Marcus Adams has led a lap. There's a point. Matthew Wood has not.
That's a big point right there. That's a big point.
All right, 7 laps to go here in Las Vegas. Wyatt Gray by himself out in front. He's got a huge gap. Well, 2.7 seconds. I think that's huge. Seems huge.
Seems like that, but you know, at this stage of the race, depending on how well Wyatt Gray and Kyle Smalley have saved their tires,
Six more laps. They'll crown a winner, and they will have punched their ticket into the final in Phoenix. Wyatt Gray, that next car in his sights will be the 22 of Ty Bostic. Ty has not had the night I don't think he was expecting here.
no, not at all.
Just 4 laps to go here, John.
Yeah, it's dwindling down. And
Head
I think
back.
that we're getting.
Go ahead.
I would say I think we're getting to the point now where, you know, the gaps are kind of the gaps. I mean, Andrew Pileshi might be able to get around Justin Lewis. Oh, Justin Lewis into the wall. Justin Lewis lost 2 spots there. High battle going on right here. This is what we got to pay attention to. This is all playoff points.
Yeah, that's Pileshi, Weaver, and Lewis right there in front of him.
Every spot matters. Every spot matters, you know.
Andrew Pileshi at the cut line is now finding himself right now in 5th. And he is ahead of Matthew Wood by 4 spots.
Wow. Two to go at the line. Wyatt Gray has increased his gap up to 2.9 seconds, Rick. I don't know if anybody's going to catch him.
Don't think so, and he's about to take the white flag next time by.
I think he will take the white flag. Here we
will.
go.
Right here, Barney's got it out. The white flag flies for Wyatt Gray in the 71 as he completes his last lap. Got a little bit of lap traffic in front of him. That's the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. Is clean around.
Just going to go to the inside here, and this is race number 7 of this playoff. But our first driver is locked into the championship 4. Wyatt Gray, you're championship bound. You win at Las Vegas. He doesn't have to worry about the next 2 rounds. Kyle Smalley and Walker Thomas, 2nd and 3rd. We'll interview all 3 of those guys at the end of the show and the broadcast. But goodness gracious, Rick, what a great run by the 71 to lock himself in. I mean, dominant, and also no cautions. Caution free tonight.
Caution, absolutely. Caution free here in Vegas for Wyatt Gray, winning here at the South Point 200 here in Vegas. How many laps? Let's try to bring up that data. How many laps did he lead?
56?
66 laps.
Leading over half the race, or right about half the race. Impressive.
All right, we'll let Wyatt Gray celebrate with his burnout while we get the results. Do we have results? Of course we have results.
Of course. All right, here we go. Here is your South Point 200 results brought to you by the IWM Broadcast Network. And this is the Tech for Troop Cup Series. Wyatt Gray wins here, locking himself into the championship 4 in 3 weeks, with Kyle Smalley in 2nd, Walker Thomas finishes in 3rd, Marcus Adams finishes in 4th, Andrew Pileshi in 5th, Jordan Weaver in 6th, Michael Anthony in 7th, Justin Lewis in 8th, Matthew Wood in 9th, and Aiden Lucas finishes in the 10th position.
Fine. Garrett Johnson finishes in 11th with Aaron Jackson in 12th, Chuck Van Scoik in 13th, Jared Wishon in 14th, John Ledger in 15th, Christoph Hall in 16th, Philip Van Nortwick in 17. In 18, you've got Bud Scherer, Cody Sergio in 19, and Maxwell Caldwell in 20th.
In the 21st position, you have Greg Stone. Mark Ruberry finishes in 22nd, Ty Bostic in 23rd, Roberto Ramirez in 24th, Samuel Harrell in 25th, Nathan Yarnell 26th, Pete Woodrum in 27th, Austin Call in 28th, David Watts finishes in 29th, and I believe that wraps up the field.
All right, I think there actually was one more driver. Let's just double check. There was.
Oh, yes, it is.
Alex Linney.
Alex Linney.
Yeah, they were involved in that earlier incident. Unfortunately, both drivers were eliminated. All right, that's our finish order. With that, we do have our drivers in the booth. Let's go ahead and bring in your 3rd place finisher tonight. That'll be Walker Thomas. Walker, congratulations on the finish. Man, green flag tonight.
Yeah, I think I've told you guys I'm sweating pretty hard. I think every time I've gotten an interview, but I'll say it again. I'm sweating, man. Those long green flag runs, there's just no breaks. But yeah, good night. Obviously, I told you a few weeks ago we're on baby watch, so happy to get the first race in the round of 8 in the books. He can come in the next few days if he wants. But yeah, happy with it. Probably should have gained on the cut line, so that was the main goal. So mission accomplished.
Well, congratulations on that. Absolutely. Yeah, we saw a number of different lines out there tonight. Some drivers kind of taking that middle line between the stripes, others flirting with the high line. Unfortunately, the safer barrier caught a few of them up there, but there seemed to be a couple ways around this track tonight.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. We practiced earlier, and the wind totally changed, so we had to totally relearn everything during the warm-up practice in here. So totally backwards. It threw me off from the get-go. And yeah, it was a very weird feeling setup. For some reason, it felt like you were absolutely destroying the right front, but it wasn't near as bad as he thought once you checked the wear on the pit stops. So, I mean, I think the top line was probably faster burnt your stuff up a little bit quicker though. So that's why you saw guys going back and forth. Definitely trying to pass was better up top, especially in turn 2. It was really tight. So being on the bottom there was no good.
Well, it certainly paid off that 2-tire stop you did at lap 87. That was, I think that was a good choice there.
Yeah, I learned my lesson a few weeks ago when Wyatt did the same thing at Kansas. So I figured it was around the same type of distance left. I figured
Yep.
it would work again, and sure enough, it does. So I wish it wasn't that way. I don't think it's very realistic that you can be on almost 100 lap old left side tires and be just as fast as people on 4. But yeah, played the strategy and definitely picked up a few spots from that. If I didn't do that, I probably would have been around 7th or 8th, to be honest. So glad I could get some strategy to go my way, even in a race where there was no cautions. You always take that result.
All right. Well, congratulations. Any shout outs tonight?
Just my balls out teammates, man. All of us were in the top 7, if you include Marcus in there. So shout out to those guys. I think that's probably the best run we've had all year. And then as always, Diecast fans for being on the car. Make sure you use code DFans at Circle B for $6 off shipping.
All right, congratulations. All right, that's Walker Thomas here, finishing 3rd here in Vegas. And with that, we'll go ahead and bring in your 2nd place finisher, Kyle Smalley, also with balls out. Kyle, congratulations on your finish tonight, man. A lot of battles around the track, but still brought home P2.
Yeah, it was a good finish for me and the balls out crew. I want to go on a little mini rant first before we go any farther.
Okay, rant away.
iRacing has got to figure out this damage model and tire model because it's crazy. I mean, props to Wyatt and congrats to him for winning, for taking 2. I'm just exposing iRacing basically, but taking 2 when your lefts are 80 laps old and still being that fast is just unrealistic. So hopefully they can fix that. And yeah, all the guys just slamming the wall off of turn 2 and 4, and then they don't get any damage, really, no repercussions from it. But yeah, P2. So good start to the round. Walker and I are 1st and 2nd in the standings, so it's a good point stay for us. Hopefully we can get a little bit of extra cushion going into Dega. And then going to Nashville, I think both of us are really good there, so it's a good start.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes people say, well, the road courses are a crapshoot, but I think those super speedways are just as, anybody can win. It just could be anybody.
Agreed. I mean, like tonight, we had a green flag run the whole way, and so you didn't have to rely on anybody, and it was a great race tonight. But next week, you have to rely on other people, and their mistakes can turn into your mistakes, and that's not great.
That's true. Yeah, we were impressed in the booth. You got 30 cars out there, 30 drivers doing their own thing around a 1.5-mile track. It certainly sets up, but sets up potential for disaster. But just great racecraft tonight.
Agreed. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the whole league tonight. That was probably the best race of the year, in my opinion. Also, shout out to everybody at Balls Out Racing. Top 7 for everybody, which is crazy. So, yeah, shout out to everybody at Balls Out. You guys for broadcasting, Tech for Troops, Elite Designs for always making us look good, and Circle V Diecast. That's about it. Thanks,
All right. You're very welcome. All right, that's Kyle Smalley finishing here in 2nd at Las Vegas. But with that, we will bring in our winner into the broadcast booth. Wyatt Gray brings it home after leading 66 laps here in Las Vegas. Wyatt, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. That was a really good race. Flag to flag, Korean flag racing. And I'm glad I got some redemption for the spring Vegas race. You guys remember that, where I kind of had an oopsie, I'll call it, on the last lap.
Yep. Yeah. No, this is definitely you redeemed yourself. We'll give you that. A smart move on being able to leverage the 2-tire stop there at the end. That certainly paid off for sure.
Yeah, that second stop, I knew I was taking 2 all the way. It was that first stop I was worried about. I was about 8th, I think, when we pitted, and I knew you have to take 4 that early in the race, but I felt like there's so little tire fall off for there being a night race. I could just pit a few laps earlier, make a couple fast laps, and get the clean air, and luckily we had a perfect pit stop and did exactly that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was great again. Between yourself and Justin Lewis, you guys pretty much led for the majority of the laps here. But this kind of race that is green flag from start to finish comes down to who makes the least number of mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. I actually hit the wall when battling with Justin there, and it gave me a little bit of right front damage, but that clean air was so good that I guess it didn't matter.
No, I think it all worked out. So again, congratulations. Any shout outs tonight, Wyatt?
Yeah, shout out you guys for broadcasting, Elliot for the race control, and shout out my teammates at Factory Nexus.
There you go. All right, there's your winner tonight here in Vegas. Wyatt Gray brings it home, punches his ticket through the round of 8 and into Vegas for the championship. John, great race tonight. Absolutely, these guys really showed off their racecraft here in the Tech for Troops Cup Series.
They did a phenomenal job, and I'm stoked that we saw a flag to flag race. It's not often we see those, but when we do, we love to call them. We love to see it, and it just brings all the racing action to you without any stoppages. So make sure to tune in tomorrow night as the INRS hits the high banks of Talladega. Nothing crazy is going to happen, right? It's nothing at all. Nothing bad can happen at all. No, it's going to be a great race. Tune in there, and then next week it'll be the second race of the round of 8 for the Tech for Troop Cup Series on Wednesday, and then the last race in the round of 8 for the INRS before the championship next Thursday night. So make sure to tune in to those races.
All right, so from John and myself, we thank you for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the Tech for Troops Cup Series, and hope to see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Good night, folks.